This is a user story mapping board. In the first row, you will have users. Users are the audience to build the features for. Second row is goals. Goals are what you want to build for the audience. Steps. So the third row steps are what you need to do to achieve the goal. And to achieve these steps, you break it down into many stories and tasks. Here, it will create a narrative flow for you. So you can take a look at it, visualize your ideas here. These stories and tasks can be grouped into a release or sprint. In order to demonstrate a user story mapping board, I will use this plugin here, Agile User Story Mapping for Jira. This plugin will help you to um, easily do your story mapping. Okay, so this is a story mapping board. You can access to it by clicking on the left side here, story mapping board, or you can access to it by clicking apps and choose story mapping board. It will display all the board that you have here, and you can click onto it. It will lead it to you to the board. In the board, you will have goals, epics, and the sprint or backlog here. You can rename it the goals into features or goals, whatever you call it. Epics here, by default it is steps, but I want to rename it into the epic, so I will keep the epic here. You have the persona here. So let's start with the basic actions. This is the structure of the board. You can zoom in here, you can zoom out, you can have some filter here. We'll come back to the filter later. We have some setting here. For the first action of the board, you will want to show the persona here. Then you can click onto persona here, and you can take a look at what are the user that you are working on. For example, I created 3 different audience: user, buying, IT support, and admin. After creating this persona, um, maybe I can create a new persona. For example, I can create a manager here. Can enter some behavior, some needs and goal and demographic here. For example, in behavior, I will type into manage people. I can assign these persona that I just created into the goals here. For example, if I add the person here, IT support here, into the shopping category. However, if I want to remove it, I just click here, so I can remove it. The goals here are what the feature or what you want to build for the user. You can create a new goal by clicking on this plus side here. The goals will be created here, and you can type in some names. For example, like dummy goal. It will stay here. After create a goal, you can create a step for it, epic. If you are using Jira name, Okay, so you can click on the plus symbol here, and it's let's say dummy epic one, and it is created. You can change the color for it if you don't like the color. You can choose in many color here, or if you are really want to get specific, you can press custom and change your color here. You can type in the hex code for the color as well. I will choose this color. Okay, so after you assign a step for your goal, you can assign it to anyone. For example, I will assign it to myself. I can change the priority here. Let's say it's low. After you getting goals epics, you will have stories and tasks, and it will be right here. You can click on the plus symbol here, and let's create a story. You can also create a new card here, like task one. Okay, so after creating all these goals, epics, stories, and tasks, you can do some action with it. For example, you can drag this one upper. This will have higher priority. What if I created it the highest priority here? I change this one to lower. I want to do this task first, so I will drag it to the top. You can also assign other stories into this epic. For example, I have a dummy one here. I can drag it into this goal. I can move it around this board, or I want to move it into this epic. It is very easy to do and easy to visualize your goal. Then you will have you can hide your you can collapse your goal here. Okay, so what if you want to delete your goals and epics? You can choose to delete the goals here. It will ask you to confirm the deletion. If you delete the goal, it will permanently remove all the epics and the stories inside. Let's try to delete it. If you want to keep the stories and epics, you can click on the checkbox here. But I want to delete everything, so I just delete it. So everything will be deleted here, the goals and the epics. Let's find some stories. For example, I will press search here. I will click it. I will type into category, find, and it says that 3 cards found. I can press previous or next to highlight the card or reset after I'm done with it. Okay, so in this stories you have in this backlog you will have many stories, and you would want to create a release or a sprint, and how to do it. So if you hover just above the backlog here, you can see the plus symbol. Press into it and you can create a sprint. Let's say sprint 1, and I will start date here is today, and end date is end of this week. The goal is to let's say complete one feature. Okay, so after I created a sprint, I can drag my stories and uh, tasks into it. For example, in this sprint, I want to I want to complete this story. I just move it in this one, or maybe this one. Okay, so in this sprint I will complete three three issues here. In this sprint you can edit it, edit the name, edit the end date, start date, and the goal of it. You can also edit the name here or change the date here. I will create another sprint, sprint 2. Start date should be next week, and I can plan my tasks here, and I can collapse or expand my sprint. It is easy to follow these tasks that you want to do. Okay, uh, you will have some filter. If you need to, you can create some filter here. Let's say I want to create some epics. Filter name is let's say category. In this, you have some JQL. You need to know how to type in JQL. For example, I will choose summary. Would be category. Create, and this uh, quick filter will filter all the issues with the name of contains that category. Okay, this is very easy to use, and you can delete the filter that you don't want to that you don't want to have. You can press clear filter here. Okay, so the next one is the setting. uh, these are some setting uh, you have. For example, if you are done with some issues, you can choose to show the completed or not. For example, I will send this whole sprint. I will start this sprint first. This sprint is active, so if I complete it, I will move all of them. I will move all of them to backlog if it is not done. Normally it should be done before you complete a sprint, but if it is not done, 5 issues is not done here, you can move it into the backlog. Let's try to change let's change the status of the issues here into in progress. um, let's try to let's change it to done. If I change this issue to done, and I choose this setting, it will also show what card is done. Okay, so if I complete this sprint, I will move all of the incomplete issues into sprint 2 complete, and the sprint 1 is gone. If you want to show it, you can choose this option, show completed sprint. But as you can see, this sprint is closed. Okay, so you can also have other option, the show orphan card. That means these cards does not have any parents. It is on the right side here. For example, I create this task, the mid task 1. This task does not have any parents. So if I turn off this one, it will not show any stories or tasks that does not have a parent. Let's delete it. Okay. The next one is use epic color. So this will add the color into the story, or um, uh, it will add the color into the epic for you. It will not have the color of the gold anymore, and you can choose the color specifically for the epic. All the stories and tasks below of this epic will follow the color of the epic. For example, if you look at these two epics, they have different color with the gold. Let's assign it to this color, this one into this color. Okay, so all of the tasks in this epic will have the color of the epic. Let's turn it off. Okay, so you can also change your swim lane mode into sprint or release. Let's change it to release mode. You can add a release here. Let's say I want to release 1.0. The start date is today and the release date is end of this week. I'll save it. You can add some tasks into here. For example, like add task 1, and after I'm done with it, I can release it, and I choose the release date is end of this week. I can release it here. If you release it, it will be gone. So in admin setting, you will also have allow sprint swimlane mode. You need to change to the sprint first. If you disable it, it will come back to the release mode. So if you want to use the swim lane mode, you need to have this admin setting set to on. There is also a maximum story numbers that you want to load. If you have many stories, it will affect the performance of this board. From what we tested, 4,000 issues is still okay. Okay, so that's all of the settings, the board, and how to use this story mapping. Thank you for your time.